Roll Tide, everybody. It's time for Elephant in the Room on Roll Tide Pods with Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. Alabama looked like Alabama. Jake, Angry Saban's back, a guy that you know. It was good to see him on the sideline. Bama playing defense like they used to, and I liked it. A 40-17 win, and Roll Tide, man, back on track.
Man, I've been high on Jalen, for a few weeks now, and about as good a performance. Took a few sacks, but outside of those sacks, about as good a performance as you can ask for, and created a lot of plays that sometimes weren't there. But man, his athleticism is changing this Alabama season and this landscape for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I feel like the team's identity now is on offense. Just don't make mistakes. You got explosive players. Now they're going to key on Jalen. They're going to try to keep him in the pocket, and they're going to try to stop the run. That's going to be the game plan. I mean, Alabama only threw it 10 times or 12, and he was like 10 of 12. So I guess that's the next thing. I mean, going into Texas A&M, but the defense, 3 takeaways was great.
Oh yeah. Well, again, the defense is going to try to do that, but Jalen, what he brings to the table is athleticism. And he's very capable throwing the ball. I mean, this game to me set him apart from what we've seen from Jalen earlier in the year and last year. To be able to sit back there, make intermediate throws. He's obviously seeing what's going on and understanding coverage. The way he extended plays, I mean, it was, I'm not going to the Bryce Young comparison, right, but the way he extended plays, got the ball out right before he crossed the line of scrimmage. He really, really forces those linebackers into binds when he brings the ball down and still keeps his eyes downfield. A few plays during that game with the first touchdown he scored, Mississippi State, bring pressure, playing man coverage with one high. When you do that, you better make the sack because guys can't cover that long. And you better make sure you get to him because there's not a whole lot of guys in the back end that can make the tackle. Scores the touchdown. Then the next rushing touchdown I saw, it looked like cover 2. Those backers, we're on the 10-yard line. They're back in the end zone. Yeah. He makes the right call, tucks the ball, and he's more athletic than all those linebackers trying to make the play. Scores the touchdown. You're in a bind if you don't make the tackle when you bring pressure. You're in a bind if you drop your linebackers too deep because, again, you're kind of saying, here, you can run the ball, but you're not going to throw it. He runs the ball and scores. You play up. You give some room there on the back end for him to throw a touchdown, and you pick your poison with Jalen. He's either going to run it or find a guy open.
Yeah, and I think for the offense, the key is just don't mess it up for the defense, because I think this is a defense that could be elite when it's all said and done.
I think it's possible. The performance they put on against Ole Miss, that was kind of eye-opening. That was kind of the measuring stick for me.
Well, when you look at what Ole Miss did on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. And then, I tell you, it looked like they were coming after the quarterback, playing a lot of man, just, basically saying, you're not going to run the ball. Will Rogers, you got to make plays throwing the ball, and you better get it out quick because we're not giving you the time. And trust those DBs to stay on those receivers and make plays. I mean, 3 interceptions on Will Rogers, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. Our show's brought to you by MyBookie. Aaron Rodgers' season is officially over, but yours has just begun at MyBookie. NFL, college ball, and a brand new cash-out system gives you options to bet and win all season long. Use the promo code Next Round. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. I was impressed. I'll tell you what, even more impressed with the defense when I saw the LSU Ole Miss game. I mean, of course I lost. I took LSU, but I don't really feel like that to me is not a loss though. That was like a flip of a coin, It's going to go in the loss column. It is in the loss column, okay? That.
No comment over here.
Right. But you know what I mean.
I'm going to count that as a win.
Yeah, and you count that as a win. But at the same time, it really shows you from an Alabama perspective how damn good that secondary is.
Oh,
no
yeah.
one even wants to mess with Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid's out there. I mean, it's kind of like, who's the last corner that Alabama had that no one wanted to throw on? Maybe Marlon Humphreys, maybe? You played with him?
I mean, Marlon, I mean, look, Cyrus Jones was a damn good corner. And from then on, I mean, you just got corner after D. Milner. We could go really on all day. I mean, safety, but
Oh, yeah,
mean,
right.
He could do whatever he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So it finally looks like we're getting back. You know, we've always had corners.
Right.
Up until recently, seems like we weren't quite there on the defensive front. But it looks like we're getting back to that now.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, the defense, and then and it's, you know, the other guys are stepping up too. But let's talk Angry Saban.
That was the highlight of the night.
Yeah, did you like it? Have you ever encountered Angry Saban before?
He's broken a few headsets at my expense, to say the least.
He's I will tell you, which is what I heard from a good source, that the bus left Tuscaloosa and it got to Gordo, and they found Angry Saban hitchhiking on the way to Starkville, picked him up, and that's how they got him back again. Some people think it was Miss Terry who told, hey, if they get on their butts, you know. Yeah. No, the true story is Angry Saban was a hitchhiker in Gordo, and they grabbed him. So good to see him back again.
No, it's funny. He's always, ever since I played for him, he always said, if I'm not getting on your ass, then you got something to worry about.
That's what I think too.
If I'm not getting after you and coaching you, you should want that, because once I'm not doing that, you're pretty much written off. And that's my words, not his.
Yeah, right.
But, when I was there, he was nobody was cut any slack. I mean, I remember one day, I'll never forget this. It was his birthday, and we practiced like garbage the day before. And everybody's wearing birthday hats, and we got cupcakes, and we're singing him happy birthday, and we're sitting there, and he gets up on the podium, and he's like, yeah, really appreciate it. But let me tell you what, if you guys want to wish me a happy birthday, you SOBs better get down and practice worth a damn. It's like, whoa. Happy birthday, coach.
Yeah, right. I love that about him, though.
Oh, yeah.
I miss that. I miss that guy.
Oh, yeah.
But he's back now.
It was far more animated than that.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was like,
yeah.
It was just all-time rants that you never forget.
Yeah, right.
And, again, when I was there, it didn't take much. If you didn't have your shoes untied for the team picture, man, you were in trouble.
Yeah, right. I love that about him, though, his attention to detail. He's wired different than everyone else. I get it. The players have changed. We're a softer society now. Our kids are, and part of that is you're also dealing with parents. If you're him, hey, my kid's not playing. We're out of here if he doesn't get in, right?
Oh yeah.
Then you're dealing with NIL. Somebody's paying them.
Oh yeah.
Right, and then you're dealing with the transfer portal. Hey, I don't have to stay here. And so I'm sure for him, he probably takes all of those things into consideration, because after he I think it was Downs got chewed up pretty good. And then I see him back then. He's like, we good? Like, did you get the
Terry and Arnold?
It was Arnold. Yeah. It was Arnold.
Oh,
did you get that? Did you get that? That after a good chewing, did he come back and find you and make sure you guys were still cool?
I don't know. Most of the time when Coach Saban was chewing me out, there was really good reason for it. I mean, there's some coaches that you hear get on somebody's ass, and you can tell it's just talking to talk.
Right.
When Coach Saban gets on you, there's truly a reason for it,
mm-hmm.
and really there's no arguing it.
No.
And if you're going to sit there and argue, then you're, everybody kind of knows you're full of shit.
Yeah, right.
And so,
who's going to sit there and argue with him?
Do
people argue with him?
I've seen a few young guys do it, and usually didn't work out.
No,
usually it was policed by other players.
Yeah.
And again, everybody has their bad days, so it would happen every now and then, but like maybe once or twice a year, and that guy wasn't playing, and there was a reason why he wasn't playing.
Right.
Guys who are starting and playing and understand the culture and the tradition and the standard that he sets. I mean, you're there to practice, play, and take the heat and fix it.
Yeah, right.
When you got a championship team, at least that's how everybody acts.
Yeah. How did you handle the policing?
I was never one to talk back to Coach Saban. Just yes, sir, yes, sir.
But I mean, with other players, like, did you ever have to, without saying names, or you can if you want, but where someone just wasn't getting their job done? And
I mean, I was never one. I never had a fight with anybody, but I mean, there were some verbal arguments here and there, but now we had Ryan here last Thursday. I've seen him get after some people. I've seen Ashawn Robinson, Jonathan Allen. I mean, I've seen some physical scenarios.
Yeah, right.
Play out.
Yeah. It's pretty rough on the football field.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's a different world when you're messing with those guys. So,
yeah, right.
I usually try to take the diplomatic approach, and they were more obey by force.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I loved having Ryan here. He was great.
Oh man, he's the best. Ryan, like I said, he is one of the most just you get what you get. He's one of the best people I've been around. One of my favorite teammates of all time.
Yeah, we'll have him back again. I mean, he's not too far from our LA studios.
That's right. That's right.
He's an LA resident like we are. So
oh yeah. Well, it's like I've told you, Ryan, he doesn't take a whole lot of BS. And if you get your ass whipped by Ryan, you probably deserve it.
Yeah, right. Well, let's hope that never happens. You make the wrong comment, wrong question by me. Just try to have fun, right?
That's right. That's right.
We'll have him back anytime he wants to come back. What's he doing now? He's like in real estate or something?
Yeah, he does a lot of residential development. He does subdivisions and custom homes.
Oh, that's cool.
At least I know he's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
That's what I think he's diving into now.
Yeah, that's great, man. Get out of the NFL.
Smart guy, just
Right. And then get into the next thing, and he's in good shape. It's not like he's walking around with bad knees or.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I can imagine a life of football where you go from college and then into the NFL and dealing with injuries all the time, that it really could affect your future as far as your health goes.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, Ryan played a form of football that was old school. I mean, head first, diving into everything.
Yeah.
I mean, took a beating, and, I think, now that he's done, he doesn't have to worry about injuries and all that stuff. It's kind of a little bit of a breath of fresh air. He's living in, over here on the Eastern Shore. And,
right.
And I know I'm glad he's back. He probably had a few more years in him, but I'm glad he's back at,
Yeah, right. And he could probably be playing if he wanted to still. So Alabama wins against Mississippi State. I'll give you my takes on the game. We started with Angry Saban. Obviously, the highlight of the whole game was watching Angry Saban back on the sideline, because I know that if Angry Saban's back, then seriously, he feels good about this team. Like, he knows that they need that they can handle that they're good enough to do something. I think he senses that the defense, if they don't F it up, this defense could take them a long way.
No, I mean, that's the thing, on offense, Jalen is plenty capable of being a playmaker. I mean, what he did, moving around the pocket, creating more time, bringing those linebackers up, dumping it over the top. Nyblack, that guy can
big
play.
Dude. Yeah.
I mean, physical, catches the ball in traffic.
Yeah.
And he's so big. He doesn't, I mean, he can absorb shots pretty well, Some of those plays he made where he was getting drilled right after he caught it didn't really look like he was taking a beating, but, taking some pretty good shots and hopping right back up. That guy, to me, that's the kind of guy you want catching balls for you. He'll go up and get it, take the beating, and get right back up and keep playing.
Did you ever watch the Bud Bowl they used to come on at the Super Bowl, the Budweiser against Bud Light cans. Did you ever see that? No, you don't know what I'm talking about. They would do this like commercial every Super Bowl where it was like a Bud commercial, but it would be like the cans would be like football players, like animated football players. And one time, like the secret weapon was like a 40. And they throw the ball to a 40 and everybody's just bouncing off. It reminds me of Nine Life. Like it's like guys are just like he's dragging dudes and guys are flying off of them, you know.
Oh yeah, he's the Bud Heavy of the or Miller High Life of the beer game.
No, he the 40. Yeah. So no, I liked him too. I just feel like that secondary, when they get pressure on the quarterback, I mean, they're so good in the secondary of locking your guys down and playing great coverage. And, even without, with their starting linebacker hurt, Lawson, the two guys that have stepped in, Campbell and Marshall, have done a nice job there, right? I mean, you haven't had a huge step off. Now, there was a couple of plays that they ran the ball in Alabama some, but Nick Saban said after the game that they expected Mississippi State to throw it more, but they're getting pressure on the quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Turner's been good. I mean, like I just feel like this defense can go a long way. I mean, because you just don't have a lot of good, like really elite defenses in college football like you used to.
Oh yeah. I mean, to do what they did, and again, from what I saw, looked like they were playing a ton of man, and to play a guy like Will Rogers, who, this is his fourth year starting, seen a lot, played a bunch against a lot of good teams. When you do that, you're kind of forcing a guy into making quick decisions and knowing where to go with the ball. And, a kind of a dangerous guy to throw to. Mississippi State's kind of been out of sync over the last few weeks from what I've seen, but still very dangerous to do that to a quarterback of Will Rogers' caliber. Just
right.
Again, he's going to make decisions quick. He's going to get the ball out and know where to go. And you force him into 3 interceptions. I mean, that's a pretty good performance in that coverage, that style defense against a Will Rogers.
Yeah. So win for Alabama. Ran the football, physical, great defense. And now we got a lot of people are calling this the Coker Bowl. Your two head coaches going head to head. Jimbo Fisher from your days at Florida State against Nick Saban, your days at Alabama.
No, yeah, this is always so interesting. It's so funny just because I've heard when I was transitioning or when I told Jimbo that I was going to Alabama and then going on the curtain trips and hearing Coach Saban's stories about Jimbo it's just hilarious hearing that dynamic. Now those stories were a lot different than all the back and forth last year when they were at each other's throats.
Yeah, right.
It was all friendly and good, but it's really funny to see those two go back and forth each year. And Jimbo ultimately being the first coach under him to beat him, kind of crazy. But he's always said, Coach Saban's always said, Jimbo is his best OC, and I could see that.
Really,
the guy is just an unbelievable mind.
Yeah, but he must have said that before he had Lane Kiffin.
He did say that when I was getting recruited. So.
Yeah, so maybe after that. You can't dismiss all that Lane Kiffin brought to Alabama.
There's strengths and weaknesses for both of those guys, and Jimbo and I, we jived a lot more, I guess. Lane's got that Cali type personality, and he can be a little bit different, but it's a toss up.
I was joking.
We'll get into that
later. That's so funny though. And what when you're watching those guys go at it last year, what was it last year? And then Jimbo made it was like, no, it was 2 years ago, and he made the comment, this guy ain't.
They're buying all their players.
Yeah, no. Saban was just basically saying, well, everything Saban said was right. And it wasn't a shot at Texas A&M. It was just that was allowed, and they were doing it.
Oh yeah,
and it's taken. If there's a criticism to me of Alabama, it's that sometimes the program is very slow to react to things like NIL and transfer portal. Maybe not transfer portal as much as NIL, but Saban wants to do everything by the book, and likes that structure. Whereas, like Texas, great example. They went out and they spent a lot of money. It's obvious. Yeah. I mean, I heard I heard they spent a pretty good fortune for the Manning kid.
Texas, they got money, A&M money.
Yeah, it's a different world when you got that oil down there.
You're fighting a different battle there.
Yeah,
and I think, again, when I heard what Coach Saban said, I didn't take that as a shot at
I didn't
Jimbo
either
at all.
Jimbo did,
but I think, if you throw stones at Jimbo, he's like that guy. You're like, excuse me, can I get by? He's like, whoa, did you just push me?
Yeah, right, yeah.
He's ready to go. So I think he took that as like a, just kind of a lack of effort in recruiting, and all it takes is money, which is not the case. Obviously they've been working their asses off to get recruits in there, and they've just been, blessed to have that kind of NIL money to lean on.
Right.
It's so funny because Coach Saban used to tell me stories about them too, getting into it. When they'd be coaching at LSU,
right?
Coach Saban would say something, and Jimbo would jump on him, and he'd be like, "Whoa, Jimbo, I'm just telling you this."
Right.
So
some of that West Virginia backwoods stuff, right? It's like those two are over there wrestling over the moonshine stuff. Calm down, boys. There's enough shine in here for everybody.
That's right.
I like the back and forth. I thought Jimbo got a little too personal when he was talking about Saban not being a god and all that stuff. But you know what? Saban, he handled it the way that you got to handle it.
Yeah,
he just held his hand up, and he's got so many rings he needs a second hand.
It's like one of those deals where it's like you see two of your buddies fighting over something just dumb,
right?
You're like, guys, let's chill out. All right,
yeah,
we're all buddies here. Let's just figure this thing out. I think Jimbo took it as a shot, like he wasn't working hard on the recruiting trail, and that's not what Coach Saban meant to say.
No, I know. It didn't come off to me like that anyway. But you know what? They did win, and then they gave Alabama trouble last year. The line isn't very big.
4.
Yeah, it's 4.
Something around there.
Yeah,
which
and I
scares
think
me.
Yeah, and I think it could even be closer than that. And the reason why is that it's at Texas A&M. Alabama struggled there. Alabama is very one-dimensional.
This is going to be the loudest stadium they ever play in.
Yep.
That place, when you play there, and I don't know what it is. part of it's they put 100,000 people in there, but man, when they have big plays, it's so loud in there. I've never experienced anything like it. When there's a big play, it gets so loud in there that you literally can't hear anything. It's like your ears are just maxed out, and you
really
like one tone, and you can't hear somebody's yelling at you right here. You can't hear them.
Wow,
it's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Been there twice for big moments. For it to get that loud, and both times it's been like, whoa, this is insane.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the design of the stadium.
It seems like it's straight up.
Yeah,
and I think all that noise just bounces off each other or whatever. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, right. Hey, it makes sense to me. I've never been there for a football game, but I have been to the Dixie Chicken, and that's about 3 blocks away. And it gets loud in there too. If you like, country music and a good old fashioned Texas honky tonk. Now that's a cool bar. I saw when they were doing construction on the stadium that they were, kind of building it up. And then, I've heard the same thing, that it gets really loud in there. This is a tough game on the schedule for Alabama. I really feel like this is this to me is the tipping point game. You win this one, and there's some tough games ahead, but they're all at home except Auburn, and you're always going to get up for the Iron Bowl. Then you put 2 losses on them, right? And one being out of conference and then one in conference, but you're in the driver's seat to get back to Atlanta. Georgia looked like crap against Auburn. I mean, our defense will shut them down. I promise you if we see them.
Yeah, what drove me crazy about that is what's the tight end, McConkey?
Yeah. No, McConkey's the receiver.
Yeah, that's right.
Bauer. Brock Bauer, yeah.
I mean, it's like that whole last drive, Auburn cannot guard the guy.
Mm-mm.
Like that's if I'm all I'm going to do is make sure he doesn't catch the ball.
Right.
You beat me with somebody else,
yeah,
that's fine. But I mean, it's like that quarterback just staring him down the whole time and throws it right to him. I mean, they just can't stop him. And maybe that's a testament to how good he is. I don't know, but it'd be more of a testament to how bad Auburn is if that's the case.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man.
I saw that first. I tell you, when I knew Auburn first play of the game, that Peyton Thorne, he runs the ball 70 yards, and there's a guy behind him, and he's looking over his shoulder, and he just runs out of bounds. I was like, wow. I was like,
that's not the way you do it.
Yeah, this team, man, this isn't a tough team.
No,
I mean, your quarterback's running out of bounds, scared like that. It's like, dude, I get it if you're like Bryce Young, and if you get hurt, then your team is screwed. But
right?
Come on, man.
Yeah,
have some pride.
Yeah,
but hey, if that's how Auburn wants to play, I'll condone it.
Yeah, right. Well, that's
keep it up over there.
I felt like they're. When I saw they were ahead, I was like, "Oh, good. This will be another one of those. They'll be crying in the locker room games. You know? They'll blow it at the end, and then, and I feel like it also it gives them a little bit too much confidence when Alabama comes to town, and I think we'll take care of them down there too. But I don't want to look ahead. I don't want to get Angry Saban angry at me. You know, one game at a time, and it's Texas A&M this week. But
I want him to be angry at everybody.
Yeah,
ready to press the nuclear button.
Oh yeah,
the whole year.
Yeah. It'd be fun to get yelled at by him. He'd have to ask a really bad question.
The barrel won't be pointed my way.
Just say something that'll get him ticked off at you. You know, like I heard Coker on that podcast, and then like you answer your phone, and it's like Cedric, and you're like, "Hey, Coach wants to talk to you." Yeah. Yeah. He's not calling, but somebody's going to call and hand him the phone, like he's El Presidente. You know?
That's right.
Yes, sir. I love it though. I love having him back on the sideline and fired up. Going into this game, I mean, this is, and we'll talk about this game, I'm sure, on Thursday when we get back together. But the momentum for this team, I think, is going in the right direction. Like I know that they have issues, but at the same time, the defense is so good. You can go into a hostile environment and win with a great defense and smart offense.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's like I've said from the start, you really don't know a young team until, week 4, 5, 6, 7, you get in the meat of the season. From what I've seen, I mean, my gosh, this week was such an improvement. I know we had our hiccups here and there, but I mean, when Jalen's not turning the ball over and making a few plays, getting the ball to the right guy, I mean, even when he was standing back in the pocket, he looked confident. I mean, he was getting the ball out. And then when he's getting out of the pocket, again, keeping his eyes downfield, it's almost impossible to guard that.
Yeah.
You cannot, defensively, if you don't sack the quarterback, and you let him get out of the pocket and he's looking downfield, and especially when he can run that way, as a defensive coordinator, I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, right.
Because, you take somebody out of secondary who's really athletic that can stay with him. That's one less guy who can cover on the back end. I mean, you're going to have really, really athletic linebackers to keep up with this Alabama offense. And again, we're going to run at Georgia. I mean, they're a team that's got a lot of talent. They're not the Georgia of last year or the year before that. But, I mean, it's going to take a special team on defense. And A&M's got some athletes. I mean, I think they'll put something together. I think this is going to be a close game, but if Jalen makes the plays he needs, is supposed to make, and then a couple plays that he's not supposed to make, we're in good shape. And doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, the turnovers are what kill you, and the turnovers are what make you. I mean, Alabama getting those turnovers on defense, something that they didn't do at all last year.
Yeah, last year was a Bryce show. I mean, and even the year before that, I mean, when we had Bryce and Mechie and Jamison Williams, it didn't matter what we did on defense. We were going to score points in the game, I mean, I'll never forget the year before that, Mac Jones is playing when we literally every drive. I don't know if there was a punt during the whole game against Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah. That was like where they got every single yard but like 20 or something, like 26 yards.
Have you ever seen an Alabama game like that?
No.
I have never.
No. But Ole Miss had like 711 yards or something against LSU.
Whoever had the ball, I saw. I mean, just
that's crazy. Yeah, I thought for sure that it was going to be like 40-25 type game.
I mean,
something weird, but
don't do that against air.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like, no defense out there.
Yeah, it shows you like LSU, man, what big problems they have. I just didn't expect this from them at all.
Yeah, I mean, just after that first year, the ceiling was set so high, or the bar was set so high, and to come out here and get beat by FSU, which that was one that you could give away. I mean. We could all see that happen to good teams, but man, lose Ole Miss, not only lose to Ole Miss, but give up 711 yards. I mean, that's one where you got to start looking around and trying to really figure out the deep-rooted issues.
Yeah, right. Okay, other games, and we're going to talk Alabama and Texas A&M later in the week. So, we'll kind of recap the Alabama game. Oh, the other thing, though, special teams. I mean, you just got to say this punting and kicking has been great.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
a difference maker. If you have a team that is dominated by defense and field position, kicking game is so important.
Oh, if we send Reichert out there, it's an automatic 3 points.
That's great. He's the greatest thing that's happened for me NIL wise. I'm sure that's why he was going to go pro instead.
He deserves.
Somebody has to be NIL in that guy.
I mean, he deserves.
He ought to be on every accuracy commercial in town.
That's the NIL deal that I'll support.
Right. I think we all. That's what you're supposed to do. Though, right?
I mean, reward the guy who stays there. Alabama means something to you, and you're performing on the field. Well,
I mean, and you're a kicker too. You might as well. Like his stock value is going to go up so much. Like I remember Slade Bolden leaving early. I was like, man, stay in school, man. Take advantage of the NIL. You could have used him as a wide receiver that year. It was just not a good decision.
And just the experience.
Yeah, right. Of being one of the main guys. Like you're not, there wasn't a whole lot of other star receivers. There was a lot of young receivers. And then that was the year Alabama didn't have really anyone step up in that receiver spot. And instead he leaves. And I thought the same thing when Reichert acted like he was leaving. I'm like, man, stay one more year, man. Now. Kickers don't really get drafted that high in the NFL.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, you'll make a lot more money now because he by far he's the best kicker in college. He's got to be.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if he's not, I really don't know how you judge a kicker outside of statistics, but he's got to. I don't think he's missed a field goal this year.
No, I mean they're all great. Like he just comes in and extra points and then kicks it off into the end zone a lot. So. He's been great. Burnup's been
and then the backup making tackles on kickoff.
Yeah, got to do that too.
That's my guy.
Yeah. But don't get hurt though. Unlike I mean, like there's no replacing, no replacing Reichert. So, but and then Burnup's been great punting, and so I think that's been kind of a quiet strength of this team, and going into, I'm definitely curious to see where we are on Thursday when we talk about Alabama and Texas A&M. But I mean, I feel like this is going to be one of the best games in the country.
No, I do too. I think it's the game of the week.
Yep.
I know Ole Miss playing Arkansas. I like Arkansas. I think that's going to be a really good game. But this one, by far to me, most talent on the field of any game this Saturday. Again, don't feel too comfortable at that line.
Makes you nervous.
I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm nervous about that. I mean, I'll never. We just went over our gambling tactics
right.
before this, and if I see that line, it makes me think A&M, but I'll be staying away from that one because I can't bet against my boys. But I'm hoping that line's just wrong and we run through them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I hope so too. Let's talk about some of the other games before we get out of here. I mean, we can't always go an hour and 15 minutes. 3 beers, right? I mean, we want to get in trouble. We don't want our fun getting cut off by our bosses, Other games, Coach Prime's team came back. They lost, but they were getting their ass kicked, and then they made it close at the end. So.
Yeah.
You were talking a little smack on me with that, but then all of a sudden, here they come, man.
Yeah, I took Colorado, changed the channel, thinking that was over, and I turned it back and realized I just lost.
They covered that 21.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. No, I mean, look, when you got and Shador's great. We got a quarterback like that and a few playmakers. You're going to stay in games, and I think USC, it's one of those deals where they got up and kind of thought the game was over, and momentum shifts in college football like no other sport.
Yeah.
And once they started making a few plays, man, it was they were red hot. But USC was obviously the better team. It just Colorado kind of made it look pretty at the end.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was all just window dressing, but still, when Dion was like, they're calling my son, they want to play, and then it's like, but what if the guy goes into the NFL? He might get drafted pretty high. He's a good player. It'd be interesting. I'm so curious to see what Dion's going to end up having there when you get another year of the transfer portal, and now you got all those kids that want to go play there and be part of that. And
it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, 4 or 5 stars that aren't getting the reps they want to get. Just getting half the reps that they feel like they deserve are going to be transferring and going over there. I just, again, we've talked about this before, but I mean, my first year and a half at Florida State, I mean, I got there and there was a solid starter in EJ, and Clint Triggett was a backup, and he's one of the best quarterbacks I've been around. He'd be playing in the NFL if he, was bigger. But I didn't realize the importance of being dedicated to the craft and being dedicated to. I showed up on time before, did all my workouts, did everything I was supposed to do, but you don't realize that young how much it really takes to be successful in football, college football, NFL. I mean, whatever.
The extra stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, I showed up when I was supposed to be there, and I'd work out late, but probably didn't watch as much film as I should have, and I mean, these kids, I just don't think they don't give it the time to realize what it takes to be a dedicated component of the football team.
Right.
And it's got to mean something to you.
Yeah.
And you got to have some pride in that school and trust in your coach. And, I didn't play at Florida State, but I love Jimbo. I mean, I thought he was really good to me, especially once he kind of set me down and we talked and kind of figured out what I needed to do. Kind of gave me a path. And although I didn't start, I mean, I'll always respect him for the way he treated me at Florida State. And I think kids just, when they get frustrated, you got to communicate and you got to work your ass off. And I think they get fed up within the first year and think the grass is always greener somewhere else.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and look, you were a national championship winning quarterback. I mean, how at Alabama, which is your dream as a kid. Like you accomplished something in your life that not a lot of people are. I mean, a handful, really. Well, more than a handful, because Alabama's won so many. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, really, like it's like
to be able to be from here and Alabama. I love this state.
Yeah.
Love the people here, love the culture in Alabama. I mean, when I was leaving Florida State, it was like a no-brainer. Coach Saban called. I was like, I mean, I didn't take any visits. They offered me, and it was done.
Yeah.
If I never played at Alabama, I was going to Alabama no matter what, just because I wanted to be a part of that team.
Right.
I wanted to be, part of that tradition and that history. And, I mean, luckily it all worked out. But, again, the amount of work that goes into it, you can't just show up and do what you're told to do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the difference. You know, I've seen guys that came in year one and I'm like, man, this guy will never make it. And then they actually start dedicating themselves. And it's like, whoa, this guy's completely different. I mean, this guy's an animal.
Turns the corner.
Yeah. But when you don't give it that time and you don't have that understanding of what it takes, I mean, yeah, you're probably not going to turn out because you don't accept the challenges that are in front of you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. Another question for you. And this is kind of the question of the night, really. I mean, and this is something that I want your perspective on. I think everyone watching does. Were you surprised that the Las Vegas PD finally fingered the guy that killed Tupac Shakur?
I have not even.
You didn't hear that? Yeah, it just happened over the weekend. Did you? Yeah, they arrested a guy for killing Tupac.
I know there's a big conspiracy theory.
No, they got him. The guy, he was part of one of the guys in the car, but I figured you might have been keeping an eye on that. You'll have to research it and come back on that. Yeah.
We'll have something.
You liked,
that'll be a Thursday
I'm sure you
special.
liked Tupac and all that, you know.
You know, I kind of just when I was younger, I guess, kind of a rebel in music. I listened to, I always listened to a lot of country. I listened to a ton of country, but when I was in high school, didn't hear as much rap. So I listened to that. And then college, rap was everywhere. So I went back to country and, you know, I mean, now I'm just all country. And actually, I'm pretty heavy on the Allman Brothers and that kind of old Southern rock.
Skinner.
That's worked.
My boat's named Freebird. Let's go the birds. Let's get on the bird. We're going to take the bird. We were talking about this today, taking the bird down to Bama for this show.
Oh yeah, got to.
And you guys that are watching, come hang out with us. We'll announce it in enough time where people can come.
Oh yeah, it'll be a great time.
It's in the works right now to take the bird down there. It'd be one thing to drive down, but it's a whole nother experience to take the bird down, you know? Now, I love
not a private plane.
No. I tell you, man, the Allman Brothers, I saw the Allman Brothers in Birmingham when I was at Alabama when I went to school.
Yeah.
And I probably shouldn't tell this story, but anyway, it was fun. It was fun. I had somebody gave me a brownie.
Save that one for
they gave me this brownie, and I just like the last one at the stage.
I
really was the last one.
You thought they were good.
Yeah, they were.
You found out they were really good.
Yeah, they were great. They was like my mouth got dry, and I danced a lot. And I love the Allman Brothers, man. I like all kind of music, and honestly, I like Tupac and I enjoyed his music a lot, man. You know, like him coming up with he was like a guy that sang with this other group, Digital Underground. They sang the Humpty Dance, you know, and then he's like a guy on there, and then he became like just this legend. I mean, really. And what's crazy, and this is an Alabama story. I'm at school at Alabama, and Tupac. Let's say Tupac was I don't know if he was dead or not yet, but Biggie Smalls, who died first? Yeah, Tupac died first, right? So it would have been like Biggie Smalls they had this rivalry, right? Well,
see, that's what I always thought it was, you know, them killing each other.
But it wasn't. Yeah, it was. It didn't have anything to do with each other, I don't think. But we thought that, right? So anyway, I'm in Alabama at the old Rose Towers, and my room was overlooking this amphitheater that they used to have out there.
Yeah.
And one of Biggie Smalls' last concerts I watched from my dorm room. And it was crazy, like how good it was. Like, you know, like just watching like Biggie Smalls at the University of Alabama on his way out west.
You know,
and then he got killed like not too long after that. As far as I remember. I mean,
I've never been a huge rap guy, but it's always amazed me how those guys, I mean, some of it you actually look in the lyrics and it's like, man, it's some pretty high level.
Well, that was Tupac.
High level type stuff. You know?
Yeah, very intellectual, writing and stuff, kind of like Chuck D with Public Enemy and stuff. But I'm a music guy, man. Like I love all kind of music. I like country music a lot too. Who are some of your like country favorites right now? Who do you like? Morgan Wallen?
Eric Church has always been my favorite. I don't know. He's kind of got that blend of the Southern rock in him too, and that's all.
You like that song Talladega?
I do love that song.
Yeah. Have you been to Talladega?
Never been to Talladega, but
let's get an RV and go.
Yeah, we gotta go. Maybe do a show from there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be fun, man. I think that like I hear about Talladega a lot on the next round, so they kind of promote it. Yeah, great singer though. I like him too. Who else?
Jamie Johnson.
He's an
Alabama
great
guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's
okay.
a Montgomery guy.
Got the long beard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Animal. And I like the old Chris Young stuff.
Yeah.
I do like Morgan Wallen. My wife loves Morgan Wallen.
I dressed up like him last Halloween. But it was future Morgan Wallen. Did you see him when he was on SNL with Jason Bateman played Morgan Wallen? It was like, you have to Google that and watch it.
So you're the Jason.
So I grew my hair out and I had like a mustache and had the exact outfit and nobody knew who the hell I was. But the whole thing, the whole point of it was that this SNL skit takes place at Innisfree in Tuscaloosa. So he's dressed like
infamous videos of Innisfree.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how I dressed like him from Innisfree in Tuscaloosa, just because I thought that would be funny. So I'm down in Montgomery for a concert, watching my favorite Dead cover band, Stolen Faces. And what is that? It's not Magnolia Inn, Malga Inn. The Malga Inn. You know, it's like
the Malaga.
Malaga, is that it? Okay. It's right down like past Dauphin, like back in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And they got a courtyard and we're out there. Nobody knows who I am. Everybody else is like got cool costumes. So I took a picture with one guy that's dressed up like the dude and the other guy dressed up like Cousin Eddie, you know. I was like, oh, who's this guy with Cousin Eddie and the dude? Two iconic, like, you know, so this year, I don't know. My son said we're going to be Spider-Man.
So people are just like, what's Mick dressed up?
Yeah.
I think he's himself.
I've got it. Yeah. When you got to tell everybody what the hell your Halloween costume is, you haven't done your work.
Yeah, that's right.
My wife wants us to go as Herbie, Dolly Parton, and me be Kenny Rogers.
That'd be pretty good.
And I think that'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so give me some other ones. What are some other country guys?
Oh, let's see. I mean, Luke Combs. That's pretty obvious. Clint Black.
You know what?
Clint Black guy.
Yes, love Clint Black, and I just saw a story where he was talking about Jimmy Buffett being one of the biggest influences in his career.
Really?
Yeah, and actually they did some shows together, which is pretty cool too, you know. But to think like Clint Black, I mean, I just remember.
People forget about Clint Black.
Yeah, I remember him like being with Jimmy Buffett a few times, like on the Buffett channel, like, hey, here's Clint, you know. But I just forgot, like, I didn't realize he was an influence, you know.
Yeah.
You need a refill?
Yeah, I'll take one.
Yeah, might as well while we're talking country music. So
Clint Black, Randy Travis, love Randy Travis, Travis Tritt.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know, all those. As far as new country goes, though, it's kind of, man, it's just kind of hit or miss. You know, I like some of the Chris Stapleton songs.
Yeah, he's cool.
But I mean, the 90s.
Riley Green, though, you gotta like Riley Green.
I like Riley Green.
I saw him down on Dauphin.
He's big friends with Big Earl at
the Floribama.
Oh yeah. I've gotten to know Big Earl over the years.
Yeah, I had him on my show.
That's
Friday.
the one we'll have to have on the show.
Yeah. When we go there, let's have him on.
Oh yeah, got to.
He said that when he said on my show Friday, he said when he got to the Floribama 30 years ago, he used to see the spring break girls, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, you know, I can, you know." And then now he sees the snowbirds, and I'm like, I don't know if anybody gets that, but God, that's so funny, man.
The stuff he comes up with, man. I've seen him at Floribama. He's really good buddies with a close friend of mine, and he'll come play some private shows over there. And man, that when you think he's letting loose at the Floribama, man, you ought to see him in a backyard. I mean, he has a good time.
I was one.
He's a good guy.
Oh, he is. Yeah. Well, somebody on that just kind of like a random friend had on their Snapchat. They're like, what the, and and they're like filming this guy, Josh Newcomb, I think is his name. He's like playing at Avenue Pub on like a Sunday, and Big Earl jumps up on the stage or where the guy's playing, and he starts like doing like karate kicks and stuff. And I'm like, hey, that's Big Earl. So I asked Big Earl, I said, I tell you, like, he's like, hold my beer. And then he's like doing, it's the worst karate you've ever seen. Like he's all stiff. And old. Yeah, right. But it's funny. And I said, where did you get those moves? And he goes, watching Elvis. That's pretty much the furthest thing from Elvis I've ever seen. Yeah. So good though. Yeah. So what about Willie Nelson? Do you like Willie Nelson?
Oh, a little bit. Some of it.
You haven't smoked enough pot. All right, let's I love that Snoop Dogg says that Willie smokes him under the table.
Oh,
It's pretty
God.
funny.
Can you imagine them two?
Yeah. They do a song together.
Party?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Roll me
gosh.
up and smoke me when I die.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what you're listening to right now, huh? The some Clint Black.
No, yeah.
Give me two more and then we'll.
Let's see.
About 2-minute warning. Here, while you're thinking, I'm gonna grab one out of here.
Alan Jackson for sure.
Oh yeah,
You gotta
another Jimmy Buffett.
You gotta play some Alan Jackson. Some Mark Chestnut.
Yeah, old Mark Chestnut.
Yeah, old Mark Chestnut.
Haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah,
I like
right.
Mark Chestnut though.
And obviously, you got your Hank Williams songs, Hank Williams Jr. songs. Let's see. That's about all I got. Off the top of my head.
One of the best concerts I ever saw was one of the last Highwaymen shows. You know who that is? Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, and Chris Christopherson. Back in the day. Just so happened that I was in Hawaii and they were in Hawaii.
Okay, that made up.
That was
The
the Highwaymen.
Highwaymen?
Yeah. It's like a super group, you know?
Yeah.
And
But they sold out some shows.
oh, I bet, man. But I didn't know, like, out in Hawaii, I just don't think that, maybe people didn't realize at the time, like, hey, this is like probably it, because you can't keep those kind of groups together.
Wait, is that how they started?
No, this was like late. They were all famous. I mean, they would just come out. It was like a variety show, like
Just
Willie,
an all-star show.
yeah, like they did some albums together, so they would do some of those songs. Like
Yeah.
there's a song called "The Highwaymen." They sung that. I had a dog named Poncho for a long time. I named him after the song Poncho and Lefty.
Uh-huh.
And they did that song there with Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard. It was great.
And you saw them live?
Yeah, I saw them live.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, man, I love all kind of music, but that was one of the best shows I ever went to. I found like the ticket. Do you keep the ticket stubs from all your shows and stuff?
No, I don't.
I still have that one. And all the football game tickets.
That's one that you'd probably need to keep.
Yeah. But what do you do with them though? Like maybe like use them as wallpaper in here or something?
I've kept the they used to give us the magazines for every game we played in.
Oh yeah.
And so I've kept those. Well, I've kept the big ones.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
right.
National Championship, the Cotton Bowl, the
Yeah.
SEC Championship. I've kept all those, and hopefully one day my daughter will be like, that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, right.
That's really what I'm keeping them for.
Yeah, right. Man. It's a good thing you have daughters because my son would like color on it or something.
That's right.
like I'm getting ready for the show. I'm behind schedule. Yesterday was a real fun day. Today's been kind of slow, and he sees me coming, and I see him grab the that little stick that you put in the sliding glass door. Like, oh, here comes Dad. Put the stick in the door and run. I'm always like, where do you think you got that from? It's all the payback, People always warn you, like when you're a jokester, like I've been, like it's just gonna get it back. Like I am getting it back. Right
yeah, mine's 3.5, almost 4, and she's just wearing me out. I mean, it gets to, she's like, hey, you don't talk to me that way. Like, what?
Oh man, being a dad's great. So you're getting ready for Halloween.
No, yeah. No,
That'd be
yeah.
fun.
Told you the costume.
Yeah.
Already.
Has it been announced? I mean, can we make the announcement?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
She's Jerry. I'm Tom. Can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. My son wants to be Vern Troyer. He's got like this big head of hair. Like, you have to wear like a bald wig, like one of those, like
when he walked in the kitchen earlier, like
yeah, he came in like he watches Vern's like old show. I don't know. He just thinks it's he
Your
loves
son's
Vern.
an old soul.
He is an old soul.
I mean,
he just
one day he's gonna know the music better than you, and he's
great. If he's a deadhead, that would be just a dream come true. That's like the tip of the from being in here. I mean, you can't walk through my house, even as we try to keep it nice, but there's two. You got to have your dead in there. And what's funny is that either you get it or you don't.
I was about to say, man,
you're not there yet.
No, I'm not. When people are in it, I mean, it's crazy, and it never leaves.
I've been a deadhead.
I mean,
since high school.
Yeah, people that I know that in their 50s, it's like once they're in, man, it's cultish.
Well, I wish honestly, like I wish I could take you to a Dead and Company show, but they're not doing it anymore. But once you get the vibe, like it's great, man. It's like they take country and bluegrass and blues music and they blend it all together. Some rock in there. It's just, and the writing is still legit now. I don't know. Have you seen the special ESPN has on Bill Walton? You should watch that.
I may have.
He does such a good job of describing it. It's like it's not one song; it's all the songs. Like
his broadcast alone is like a psychedelic.
Yeah. So this is like a side story here, but look, this is our podcast, so we can talk about what we want, right? I think Bob Brenly, who was the manager of the Diamondbacks 2001 after 9/11, won the World Series. He was a player in the big leagues for a long time. He broadcast at Cubs. Was like a color broadcaster with the Cubs back. Harry Carey taught him how to do broadcasting. He's the most interesting guy I've ever met. Like he just is. His son played on the Smokies. It's like I kind of got to know him like through that, and then him.
He just knows Cubs. Everything.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm a deadhead, and he's like, oh well, let me tell you about Jerry Garcia. When I played for the Giants, like Jerry was a big Giants fan, and he'd come, and me and so and so, we're all sitting backstage, and here comes Jerry, and he hands the guy next to me a spliff, and then goes out on stage and jams out. And
who you'd really like is Jake Peavy.
Yeah, well, I've met Jake's family. Like I've been to some stuff that he's done in spring training, like his charity, and we're kind of friends with a lot of the same people. But
we ought to have him on one day.
Yeah, I would love
to. Great, man. He's
I wanted to get him on my beer review show during COVID.
Did you try?
I tried. I went with his brother. Yeah, but I don't know him. I don't know the guy. The guy that I asked is a guy who owns the bar in Wrigleyville, and a Cubs guy, and he's friends with him from when he played with the White Sox. And I'm like, they probably like, but he owns all these bars around here. I figured, that some of those beer shows did like 10,000 views, maybe more. I mean, like get him on there, and we'll just sit there and drink beer and talk.
Oh yeah, No, he's great. He's a good guy.
I know he was playing dead at the event I was at.
He's a hell of a musician.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know anything about playing music, so I guess he could be bad. I don't know, but he sounds pretty damn good to me.
We should have him in here. You're right. So is he? Who's his college team?
I don't really. I mean, when we've talked, he sounded like he was Alabama.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was playing baseball when he was like 19.
Yeah.
I don't think he even had time to. He's like all in on baseball.
Yeah. So. He was so good at it. One of the all-time great Bay Bears, too.
Oh, yeah.
Not just that. I mean,
I watched his first game in Bay Bear Stadium.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Awesome.
All right, let's 2-minute drill. Oh, and by the way, guys, we're brought to you by MyBookie and Lance's Lock. Lance killing it, man. Just on fire right now with his picks, and he can help you guys out with yours as well. Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com. LT does – he's just so good at being able to handicap games, unlike the start of my season, right? Yeah. But, I mean, like you ask him about any team, it's like he's got insight on it, and, you know, he kills it with the picks. The number one to me was watching how excited he was that it was only a 21-point spread when Colorado went to Oregon. Like, I mean, I'm sure that he probably paid his mortgage off, you know. And he's great. Lance's Lock. You guys know him from the next round, but man, I'm telling you, he is really good at the handicapping.
What was his percentage? What's his percentage on the year so far?
I don't know. I don't know, but I know that like.
Seems like every time you get his picks, they're winning.
Yeah. Like he was won 5 out of 7 in the NFL last week. So
it's crazy to me how that. I mean, some of it does take some football knowledge, but man, I tell you, most people that are good at it sometimes don't really know much about X's and O's. They just understand where Vegas is, what their thought process is,
right.
And they just know how to gamble.
Yeah, like you're kind of tapping in on that as well. Like, you know. It's more than just, hey, I'm watching these guys and this is what's going on. They know something that we don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're supposed to know it.
Yeah, I mean, when I watch a game or when I see two teams playing each other and one is obviously better than the other and the line's pretty close, it's like, okay, there's something up here.
Yeah, right.
I need to look into this.
No doubt. Texas A&M and Alabama coming up, and then after that, Alabama and Arkansas. Did somebody tell me that's an 11 o'clock a.m. game?
Ole Miss and Arkansas is 11 a.m.
I'm gonna double check that.
I was hoping that was a 6 o'clock game.
Let me double check that right now. But yeah, I think that's what I saw.
I don't know what the line is on that one, but I'm liking Arkansas already.
Are you?
Yep.
Because they'll get a lot of points against Alabama.
Well, Arkansas over Ole Miss.
Oh, Ole Miss. You're talking about next week. I'm telling you, man. I'm so shocked that Ole Miss.
Wait a second.
beats.
I thought Arkansas was playing Ole Miss this week.
No, I'm talking about when they play Alabama.
Future
schedule.
Oh no.
But I'm going to put you in for Arkansas.
On Alabama because I'm
going to put you in for Arkansas.
Against my boys. No, I'm talking Arkansas, Ole Miss this week.
Gotta love technology. So we got 2:30 this week.
Because
11 a.m. Yeah, so October 14th, 11 a.m.
Is that Alabama A&M or is that?
No, that's Arkansas at Alabama on October 14th is at 11. And the 2:30 game is Florida at South Carolina.
When do Arkansas and Ole Miss play?
Arkansas and Ole Miss is 6:30 on Saturday.
Perfect.
Yep. And it's 11 points right now. Ole Miss is an 11-point favorite at home.
I think I'll lean Arkansas's way no matter what, but
look at you. Hammer Arkansas.
It'd make me feel better if Arkansas had less points.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, but yeah, they want to make it uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's right.
And if they don't, then normally there's a reason why.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Anyway, well, this was fun, man. Anything else that you want to get into before we wrap it up?
Man,
Did we hit it all today?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's about it. Heck, I'm looking forward to Thursday already.
Yeah, me too. I had a great time. And again, thank you guys. Checked out some of the comments, some really great comments about the show. And please leave those comments in there. And just know that we appreciate all you guys for hanging out with us on the Elephant in the Room podcast, Roll Tide Pods. Jake Coker, I'm Mick Gillispie. Having a good time, man, with you guys as well. Just consider this your bar, and we're all just sitting here
Yeah.
hanging out, talking about things, and watching some football and hoping that Alabama can continue the roll. So if you learned one thing about the show today, and that is we're all happy that Angry Saban is back.
That's right.
Hey, again, we're brought to you by MyBookie. Now's a great time to make your picks count. MyBookie. You can bet on everything there, college football, NFL, any sport, check it out, MyBookie. All right, for Jake Coker, I'm Mick Gillispie. We will talk to you guys again later in the week. Roll Tide, everybody.